Hey everybody, this is Les Stroud. Stay tuned for more bushcraft. Jeremy, down in West Texas. Take it easy, Jeremy.
From the Garage Guru.
Oh yeah, from the Garage Guru.
I got the blues, guys. I got the blues. I don't have enough guitars. Need more guitars. The only problem is those darn things cost money. So I got those guitar blues. I need a new guitar today. So I think I just need to build one. Yeah, gonna just have to build one, I think. Build everything else, don't I? So I've been looking at stuff online for the old cigar box guitars. Oh yeah. So I think we're going to take a stab at that. I have never, ever, 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 ever made a guitar. Ever. I don't even have a clue. So let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can turn this sucker into a new guitar. What do you think? Alright. Let's do it. Alright, so a little brief history about the cigar box guitars. It's an American thing. Pretty cool. I didn't really do a whole lot of research, but what I did read about it though is that it comes from American poverty. Basically the African Americans. If I'm going to guess, it's going to probably be around the slave era, you know, the 1800s, all the way through the mid 1800s, all the way up until around the time, well, even probably past then, and well, apparently all the way till now, but I'm going to say probably early 1800s when it originated. Be a good guess, I think. But anyway, for those guys that couldn't afford guitars, they just simply make their own out of a guitar box. Typically had 2, 3, maybe 4 strings, and they just sing the blues. Really pretty simple. Not much of a history, but it comes from around that time. So we're going to make a 3-string guitar. Now, not knowing really how to go about that, I just looked over the guitars I've got, and I could tell that the neck was, well, pretty well shaped and had a laminate fingerboard. So we're going to do that. So I went and got this nice chunk of oak. Probably can't see it, but it's got a pretty darn nice color. Yeah, the lighting in here kind of sucks, but this is a red oak. So I figured a good hardwood would be a good thing for this. And then I got the exact same stuff on a much thinner scale. So basically what I'll do is I'll just glue that to the top of there, because what I want to do is make this fingerboard flush with the lid. I plan on putting electronics in there too, so that way I can amp the thing up and really have some good slide blues guitar going, and oh, it's gonna be great. So that's kind of the plan. So I'm not really sure how to start with this, so yeah, let's just start measuring crap and see what we get. Okay, so first things first, looks like you're probably going to need some sort of wooden cigar box. I don't think a cardboard would probably work worth a crap for this, so skip the cardboard, go straight for the wood. I have 2 different ones, and I decided to use this one because I like it. As you can tell, I've already put a little polyurethane on this thing a long time ago because it really makes the wood look prettier, and I like boxes, so you know, whatever. So the first thing I know I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to take my 1x2 here, and I'm going to need to measure that out, because this is going to go all the way through the box, like so. like so. It's going to go all the way through there. And I want this thing to be serviceable. Most of the ones I've seen, once it's all put together and the lid's shut, that's it. You can never open the lid again. It's over. But I want this to be serviceable because right now I want to be able to play it until I get my electronics. So I figure if I can open this and close it, if I have any problems, need to replace the potentiometer knobs, anything like that, I can get in there and do that. And of course there'll be a pickup here and all that good stuff. So the good thing about the cigar box guitars is you can just do whatever the heck you want with them. They're a work of art. So basically when I'm holding this thing, I want it to open this way, because if I put my neck through it this way, I probably won't be able to get the lid open. So what I'm going to have to do here is figure out where I'm going to cut my hole on this thing so I can stick that neck all the way through it. Okay, so upon first inspection here, looking how I'm going to tackle this, this is just about the same width as the lid itself. So that's going to cause me a little bit of an issue because I can't mount the neck into the lid. It's going to have to be mounted to the body, which will be the bottom part. So looks like I'm going to have to double this up on part of it, and then so that way it can work its way down into the body, which will be fine. That'll be nice and easy, not a problem there. So I guess the next step I'm going to have to do is measure out my neck length. So I'm going to take my guitar over there and get that measured. So, my favorite glue is Titebond 3. This stuff is waterproof. It is, and it says superior strength. Oh yeah, it is superior. Oh, we're gonna make a guitar today. Or whatever. That glue is finally dried up. Got the box. Got those in place for bracing. And I have a rough cut neck in fingerboard. So now what I need to do is plop this down in here like so. And I had to go and sand on in here on the box side just a little bit, so that way the lid would shut properly. You didn't want to shut without binding up, so there we go. There's the essence of the guitar. So, taking a few days off and getting back on this thing. Yeah, looking pretty good. Now today, pretty well got the neck finished. There's just a couple of little touches I want to do to it to make sure it's where I want it. But for the most part, today I'm going to mark out the place for my pickup, my bridge, and my acoustical holes where they're going to wind up, and my knobs, and then probably a jack right back here on the back. So I'm going to mark those and drill those and cut those out today. And then probably glue the neck in place so that way I can put finish on it and then go put all the electronics and everything on it at the very last. Yeah. So, I'm not quite ready for that. Everything on it's been a little scary because I don't want to mess it up. So instead I'm going to finish my Shiner Prickly Pear Frosty Barley Pop, also known as beer. Enjoying that tasty little treat. Made right here in Texas. Good stuff. Now what the hell, let's go ahead and get started anyway. Here's another little thing that I have done to the back of this. Once I put my finish on here, I have the name. I name my guitars. I play drums in a band, and I don't name my drums. I don't know why. I've always named my guitars. I currently have 3 guitars that have names, but this one definitely needed a name. And I named it Little Monster. It's after my little buddy. I had to put him down the other day, so there's the date. So this will now be set. All of this are going to be set in my finish here. I'm going to use polyacrylic. It's water-based. I had originally planned to use polyurethane, but what I found out with polyurethane was after a desk and a dinner table I built, the polyurethane is just hell on a brush, and the bad thing about it is yellow. I don't give a crap what they say. If it's crystal clear, they're liars. It is not. It's yellow. And with this kind of oak, I really want that to stay about the same color. I don't want that yellow. So after I did some research about, sorry for the noise, after I did some research about flooring and things with the walls, I found people are using polyacrylic because it is actually water-based. You can see right there, it's water-based, so it's an easy cleanup. And I found this in a can. And the cool thing about it is it's tougher than polyurethane, which is perfect for this kind of application because I'm going to be running my fingers on it and with my wedding ring and everything like that. I don't want it scuffing it up. So, yeah, some polyacrylic. So we're going to work with that, and I'm going to go with a clear satin on this because I don't want a big sheen on that. I really want that to kind of stay with that rustic look. I mean, after all, I'm trying to maintain the way it is historically, so it's going to be perfect. Let's see here. Let's get this thing shooting fluid. Alright, so I have a vertical fan on this thing, so I'm going to put a coat on this and then give you a close-up of what it looks like afterwards, and I hope like hell no bugs wind up flying into this crap, because here it is, it's warming up. It was over 90 degrees today. It is April 6th, and we got bugs and it's hot. Great. Alright, so let me just kind of give you show you where we're at here. I have put the finish on this. Let me see if I can get the sunlight on it. The sun's going down, so it doesn't really want to show up real well, but maybe if we do it this way. There we go. You can see a little bit of a sheen on that. I got the finish on here. What I used is that, of course, that polyacrylic. Man, that stuff worked great. I'm really impressed with that stuff. They say it's supposed to be real durable. But let's see here. You can see the watch gears that I have recessed in there. Man, stupid light. There you go. So there's you an idea of what we've put down in there. They're recessed in there and epoxied over the top. So they're actually very flush. You can't even feel them there. And then all the nails have been recessed in here. So what I did is, this is actually 7 coats of that polyacrylic, all sanded up nicely. I mean, this thing is just flat, silky smooth. There is no grain on there. And of course, it took many coats. I think it was 3 coats that I wound up having to do on there just to get rid of the grain. Just sand, another coat, sand, another coat. In fact, you should see my garage floor is completely white from all the overspray. But I apologize for not putting the rest of it on film, but I went on ahead and just put all my stuff on here. This is the bolt I'm going to use from the bridge, where the strings come out from here. They're going to come across here over this pickup, and then of course down here, and I put the machine heads on here. This is really pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I had the holes drilled out, and then I drilled these little small holes for these screws, and you just poke them through those holes and then basically screw them down. And then you have this grommet on the top that you put down in that hole that they come up through. So there's the tuners, there's the bolt for the nut. Yeah, that's kind of an oxymoron. A bolt for the nut. And then, man, that thing just feels so nice. And these, focus you stupid camera, there it goes. These are bathtub drain strainers. I'll show you the inside of this here in a minute. And this is the pickup for my friend's Telecaster. I drilled a couple of holes on either side so that way I can put the screws in there to mount this thing. And it's mounted with springs, and I may have to make a change on that. I put my potentiometers in here, which is going to function for my volume knob and my tone. And here's the repair I did on that one that broke. You can see there that other piece broke off. So I took this piece of bamboo skewer and epoxied it to it and test fitted it with a knob, and it fits perfectly. So there's a good close-up of that. Now let me show you. So inside here, there's the back side of the strainers. I just took, these will normally snap in a drain, and I took the little legs and just bent them over backwards. So I mean, they're in there good and tight. There's the back side of my pickup, and there's where the bolts come through. This is threaded on the pickup, and underneath that I have a spring, so that way if I adjust it up or down, it's not going to flop around, because the screws had to move freely through the holes. And of course I reinforced that where that was going to go. Here's the back of the potentiometers. This one's the tone, this one's the volume. The cool guy at the music store, he just gave me this one. And I have to wire all this up, and that's what I'm going to do tonight. And then there is the jack to plug it in. I have to wire all that up. But you can see here how I've cut this bridge, or cut the neck down, so the pickup just sits right down there nice and purty like. That's the Texificated way of saying things. I know you guys love that word, Texification. So let's see here on the back side. I have put my strap mounts, or my strap buttons, whatever you want to call them, and I got to make a strap for this thing once I'm finished with it. I haven't really decided on the style yet, and then there's where the strings come in from the back side. So here we go. This is all nice and set in there. It's tattooed, all nice and pretty. And let's see here. Yeah, there's the back of the machine heads again. So man, this thing is just flat. I'm real happy with how this has come out. So here's what I get to do. Get to wire this up. This is the volume potentiometer. That's the tone, of course. It says so right there in plain English. And there's the jack. So it's time to get out the soldering iron, pretty much. Oh, and I had to buy a capacitor for right there. There they are. There's the capacitors. I just need the one, but I was trying to figure out what in the heck I needed that capacitor for, so I did the research, and this, when you work your tone, depending on, man, and I know nothing about electronics, but that was the recommended one, the 022, whatever the heck that symbol means. I'm not that friggin' smart, but you know. But you put that right there, and when you work that tone, this number right here on this capacitor, I know this will hold a charge, so when you work that tone, that one will not cut too much of my treble out, which is a good thing, because this is going to be played with a slide, so I want this to have a good crisp sound. If I go up on my numbers, like the next one up that they recommended was like a 047, that would cut the treble out and give me a lot more bottom end, which I'm not going to need that because I'm not going to really have any low strings on here, so that gives it more of a warm sound. And some people say warm is just muddy and crappy sounding, so this should keep it nice and crisp. Honestly, if I don't put that on there, I have no idea what will happen. It's probably, I figure I'll hear a hum or a buzz or something like that, or just the stupid tone knob just flat won't work or whatever. But then again, I have no idea. So that's what I'm going to do. I am going to get out my soldering iron and wire this up, and then I'm going to give it a test run. Alrighty. Little monster is done. Little monster. Yep. There it is. Wired it all up last night. Drilled some dies. I put some dies on here. Drilled those out. Put a little touch of glue on there so to keep them on there. So it's all wired up now. I have it tuned to the top 3 strings of your standard guitar. That would be an E chord. So this is a D, being the well, I say the top 3, the bottom 3 strings. So which is typically your D, your B, and your E. And this is tuned to an E chord. So really, this is standard tuning with the exception of this string here. The middle string is let's see here. So it'd be B. That's a C. There's your E chord. I'm going to play that up the neck and get all my chords all the way up. So, what do you say we plug this thing in and see what we get? 3/4 inch socket, slip it on your finger. Makes a great slide. But I don't really care for it. A little heavy, but if that's all you got, use this brass slide instead. So, alright. It's muffled because the tone's all the way down. You hear the difference in the tone. Wow. Everything works. You hear a little hum of grounding. It's probably due to the way the garage is wired. Oh boy. Let's see what we get, huh? So of course, being fretless, you got to feel for the right spot, and listen for the right note. So that works. Cool. Very nice. So, I do appreciate you guys coming and hanging out in the garage and watching me build this thing. Not the most bushcrafty thing in the world, but it's repurposed items. For the most part. The pickup was got that from a friend. Dug this bolt out of an old can of bolts I got. Some dice out of an old board game. Went and bought these. Had the cigar box laying around. And of course I had to go buy the wood to make the neck, but at least it was not a purchased neck. I made it myself. And of course the machine heads, I didn't have any of those laying around, so I had to just kind of do that. So there we go. Little Monster cigar box guitar. Sweet. Well, thanks again for stopping by, guys. You guys have a wonderful week.